then suddenly I got this vision of this warrior, and probably this might go back to what Mickey said earlier. I don't know. I got this vision of this male warrior riding Pegasus. I'm back into relaxing and just kind of trying to go deeper again because it's.
Yeah. This is the pink moon. Has anybody heard that? Yeah, I figured you would know. This is the pink moon, which I thought was very cute, but it's actually a subterfuge. It's in disguise. I'll dress up in pink and they'll think I'm just nice and sweet. Don't fall for it.
And I noticed that you are all dressed in pink.
Yes, exactly. Pink moon. The first thing for us to remember this month is that everything comes to you at the right time. Now that's hitting me right smack in the mouth because I didn't think it was the right time for me to be going through all this crap I'm going through. I resent it, but it is true. Um, no, and the hard lesson is that no matter how ugly something is, it's at the right time. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. It's the right time in your incarnation. Mm-hmm. Or it may be the right time because you picked a different timeline and new incarnation. We're here in this incarnation, but it doesn't mean that we can't manipulate it. That's why we're sitting here talking about astrology and the tarot and all that stuff. It's an attempt to regain a little bit of power, a little bit of control over what you're seeing unfold. Well, we set it in motion before we got here. However, once you are here, you still have some manipulation that is possible. You're not going to be able to change. I started to say your gender, but nowadays you can. But you can't change from black to white or vice versa, white to black. You can change to another country, but you were still born whatever you were and you changed it. So you do get a measure of control, some control, but it's smaller things. So what we're talking about is cycles. Everything's in cycles. And we're here honoring one of the small cycles that we encounter, that of the full moon and the new moon. But the very system that we're discussing entertains a lot of other connections besides that one. We're looking at a very tiny part of astrology. And when it talks about control, you have to go deeper than just full moon, new moon, because that's just two planets being highlighted. I'm trying to highlight the fact that, number one, there are cycles. Number two, they have sizes and therefore importance based on, their input. And number three, that you can mess with them. However, that's outside the purview of what we're doing here today. We're only looking at the sun and the moon to call it a full or a new moon. So I go back to saying everything comes to you at the right time, because the time is predicated on when it will have the most influence on what you came here to learn. We're all here trying to learn what we agreed to. We have contracts that we're living up to. So the more we take the time to examine ourselves, our lives, our families, etc., then the more we're trying to exert an influence on the caliber of our experience here in this lifetime. So everything comes at the right time. And the subtitle under that is Patience is called Moment. Now, sometimes the word Seth comes up, and it might be 10 years before you actually read one of the books. But I heard about that years ago. I heard somebody, oh yeah, she was talking about that, but I wasn't paying attention. Well, I'll read it now, I guess, and see what she was on about. So, time, everything's coming to you at the right time. The first time you heard the word may not have been when it was supposed to bloom in your life. It may be that was when it was seeded and it had to have time to grow into your timeline and be a point where you were willing to resource it. So we're moving on through. What does this full moon call for? Well, I guess to discuss anything about the rest of it. The next thing is begin. When I say examine your life, examine what you want to keep and what you want to throw away, what's serving you, what's not serving you, blah, blah, blah. Dig through and root out the things you don't need. The only thing you can preface that with is begin. You can read it all you want to. I can tell you about it in great detail. I can go on for hours. But if you walk away from this and you never begin, it meant F.A., as they say over here, F all. That's what it meant, because you didn't even begin. And that's the indication of when it really hits your timeline and your incarnation, and it's going to serve you because you begin. You open your attention, which is the one thing we have that reminds you of how godlike we are. Attention. That's what created us. Attention. And if God had not paid any attention to the fact that he had the full capacity to create all these different worlds and things, without his attention, none of us would even exist. So the beginning of having any kind of control, of outlining it, of defining it, of grasping it and using it, begin. That's the first step, and it is the most important one in anything. That's the magic. That's where the magic is in begin, because at that point you can express anything that you've decided upon to have in your life. You can begin to exert control. It means you're doing what? You're acting like a god. You're creating. God created us. We have the capacity to create, and some of us embrace it and some of us don't. So, in this full pink moon, we have to realize that everything comes at the right time. We have to realize that we have to be patient as we go through what we want to do. And we have to remember all the while that we can't do it wrong. And therefore, begin. And that's the extent of it. That's what this full moon is all about. It's about the fact that, first of all, dig your heels in and get ready, because this is a time of feeling tense. I don't know if you're feeling it already. Could have started yesterday, but there's a tension in the air that's going to become more. And because of that intention, we're going to all be on edge and feeling pushed, and we want an inclination to seek relief from the tension and that's bearing down on us. So then we might be inclined to take steps that we normally wouldn't take. Now that can be good or bad. That's up to you. But the push, the feeling, the sensation of being pushed to do something is going to be very strong. That's just generally true of sun and moon opposition, meaning the full moon. It starts to pull on things. And in some months when we talked about it, I've said that, you're going to feel the pull this month to make you do this or this or this. It's just part of even having a full moon. And I'm saying to you, that's on the small side. We're going through the gist of what a full moon is. We're getting ready to go through that on a very massive scale. It's sort of like a universal full moon instead of just the one you're used to on a personal level. There's a big push happening. And there's the one that's overall big style, and then there's the smaller one that's monthly, and so forth and so on. But yes, there is a big cycle that is part of the earthly cycle that we're going through right now, period. So that sense of intensity inclines you. When we talk about being inclined to do something, it's where we have felt the need to create an action of some kind that is slightly different from what we were previously doing.
So it almost feels like the universe is pushing us to begin. And Seth called that following your urges.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've been working on doing that for the last, probably a couple of years.
Oh, that's good. This is a big cycle at this time in your life. And we are all generally of similar decades. So we're all feeling certain energy shifts that go with the stage of life we're in. I am probably the oldest in the group, and so I'm feeling it even more. And I have all kinds of stuff jumping off over here. I'm reacting to a lot of crap. So it seems to be protracted and hanging on. And in the course of it, I have had to learn a lot of things, but I had no choice. These were things who insisted on learning right then. And it's going on and on. I'm now in the 7th week of being ill. And someone just reminded me yesterday when I was talking about symptoms I was going through. Oh, yes, well, okay, so now you're only down to couple of months. I beg your pardon? A couple of whats. So I still have 2 months to go, at the very least. Not pleased. Okay. I am not blanking pleased, but it's just part of what I set up. And I've had to remind myself that I did script this, I have to figure out how to be accepted by the group that's getting somewhere. I have to change my modus operandi or whatever, and find new ways to address those things that I've become interested in changing. You have to get to that part of the process, though. Like I said before, you pick out and decide, this serves me, this doesn't, this I'll change, this I won't. And once you've decided what you're going to do and mess with, then you start finding the professionals that can help you do it. Sometimes that just means, when I say professionals, I just mean people who have some kind of power to work on those things that you've delineated. Now, that might mean I always burn every damn time I do the pork roast, I burn it. Well, then you got to go to who? You got to go to Mom, because you never saw hers burn. What am I doing wrong? What is it you do that I'm not doing? It could be something just that small, but that's the sequence. You're learning the sequence. When you learn to fix things on that smaller schedule, you learn that the next thing you have to address, that works. I will seek to find what it is missing, and then I will go look for someone who has that. and is willing to impart it to me. Okay? And you will start to do that on a larger and larger scale.
So just as you were saying that, Mickey, all I could think of was go to your doppelganger that already had that ability.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. If you don't have someone that you can put your hands on, like me, in the house, I can't reach out to someone and say, well, how do you make so-and-so? I have to look it up online and find an expert who's doing whatever it is. Or then I do exactly what Kate is saying and go inside to my doppelganger and find out who it is among all the billions of incarnations I have. Which one is really good at it? Show me what you do that I'm not doing. You know? So this is all about introspection on a minor or major scale, depending on what you decide. Now, if you want to be accepted in something among other professionals, if that's not happening for you right now, go make your own team. If you can't find the team of professionals doing what you want them to do, then fine. Start a team. You can be the rankest amateurs, and that's fine because that's your team. And you're all going to look for more information to add to it. The thing works the same on every level of existence for a very special reason, because that's how God works. God knows how to go and create what he needs to see when he needs to see it. He wanted to get more reflections of himself, so he made all these little mirrors. Hi, mirrors. That's what we all are. Okay? So it's a matter of the grade, the level that you're going to do things on, because the same way works for everything. You have to figure out what it is you want. What part of it do you want? Whatever knowledge. I want this amount of it. I don't want to become the best known baker in the history of England. I just want my bread to rise when I'm trying to make it. It's always flat. I don't have to go to Prue and Paul Hollywood and all the rest of those famous bakers over here, because I don't need all that. I can watch them on TV and see what it is I did wrong when I mixed the dough. But I don't need to go become their companion on the show. I don't need to rise to the level where I'm not only on the show, but I just proved that I can bake better than any of them. Come on. I just needed a loaf of bread. And that's what I do. You ferret out what you need, and then you figure out or ferret out who can I go to that knows how to get that. And that's all you want from them, is the knowledge of how to accomplish what you're trying to create. So you create it using whatever method works for you. Some people need to meditate. Some people need to scream and holler and create a big fracas so that others run, what's the matter? What's the matter? And they run up to you with help. They run up to you with helpful attitudes. What's wrong? What is it? What's bothering you? Maybe I can help. Voila. Okay. So no matter what the way that you decide to do it, begin. And you can start on a tiny, tiny, tiny level. Nobody said you had to start at the top. Start at the bottom. Just begin. And the first step of beginning is to take it seriously and say, I think I want to work on this. You've isolated the idea of what the thing is. So now you have an idea of where to begin. Oh, I want to work on this. Oh, I think I better find out that, etc., etc. But it all comes down to being exactly what Seth said, exactly what Bert says, exactly what Jose Silva says, Joe Dispenza. They're all saying the same thing because that's how it's done. And we know that because that's what God does. All that is works that way. So if it works for him, I'll try it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I see Martin just popped in. Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hi, Martin. Hi.
Hi. Good to see you all. Here, I'll
Thank
pop my. There we go.
There.
There he is.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've been
Welcome.
talking about this big, huge full moon that's attacking us all. So
Yeah.
you catch up later. Just keep your windows up.
Yeah, we got a snowstorm coming in.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be a happy camper, won't you? You'll be out there frolicking.
Got 2 days off, so I get to enjoy it.
Oh God, he's gonna frolic for real.
Yeah.
I certainly can. Oh God.
Yeah. No. It's nice. It's nice here. I think it's in the high 60s, low 70s today.
Good heavens.
But it's rainy though, and we have flood warnings out.
Well, we'll see what's coming up because this full moon brings us 3 major planets in it, but the others are joining it shortly. So for the next couple of weeks, we're in a whole little section of time where all the planets are going into Aries.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is cause for great, great aggression. The warrior, the warriors are out. And right now it's Sun, Saturn, and Neptune, but it's about to be Mercury and the moon. Well, Mercury, the moon, and Mars are all going in there too. So there'll be a lot of Aries, which means everything's going to be in a go, go, go mood, you know. Come on, come on. What's holding you up? Come on, let's do this. You know, it's that kind of atmosphere. And of course, the moon will have joined it. So your emotions will no longer be fighting the urge to let's get out and do something. Okay?
I'll have my favorite line ready for anybody that says that to me. I had a recurring dream for many years that people would ask me, what's taking you so long? And I'd say, well, I'm used to having more than 2 arms.
That is cute. Okay, that works. I'll have to steal that one. I will definitely have to steal. Yeah, that's good. That's very good. That's Venus energy, Venusian energy.
Nice. And beauty and love and all of that.
Yeah.
And the love of self and the quietness that we put around us. You know, Carol did an event on Sunday night, and it was all about unconditional love. It was such a wonderful conversation. Like, yeah, she's doing another one in 2 weeks, and she'll be doing different topics each time she does this. And you know, the conversation was just so rich with what people wanted to add to it. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I missed that.
And I think that for Carol and I, you know, we had this urge to create this whole platform, 3-4 years ago. And, you know, it's taken time and a lot of love and intention, but those seeds were planted and they are now starting to sprout.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the energy that you put in is bringing forth results.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're seeing it with, you know, we get new people almost every day, you know, and and to add to these conversations and the deepness we can go because it's private. Nobody's going to make rude comments on Facebook or whatever.
Right.
It's just people that are trying to learn or put into words how they feel about deep topics.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's so positive because it's really everybody's here to learn from everyone else. It's not it's never turned into a conversation about I have the one right way and you guys are full of shit. It's never turned into anything like that. It's always been, this is the way I think about it, and finding those interesting tidbits that other people have to offer that spark your own thinking and integrating into your own belief system other things that people have to offer that kind of are little sparks. So
yeah, we got these different plates like the restaurant that all have different plate of food, but we can try bits off of each plate.
And we can all sit at the same table.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And still.
Yeah. And when you think about, going outside of your body and feeling being a part of the air, a lot of that is these waves of energy and which we're speaking on.
I had a really interesting vision in mind. I started out with, an emotion that I feel like I'm challenged by and, wanting to get some information and insight on that. And so I was meditating on that. And then suddenly I got this vision of this warrior, and probably this might go back to what Mickey said earlier. I don't know. I got this vision of this male warrior riding Pegasus and coming down and coming down to attack this entity of some sort. I don't even remember as much about the entity as I do about the person on Pegasus. I was like, holy cow, where did that come from?
Wow.
Yeah. And then that kind of, once I was startled by that kind of disappeared, and I went back into more, it was more towards the end of the meditation, went back into relaxing and just kind of trying to go deeper again because it startled me out of it for a little bit. But it was very, very strange. I don't usually typically get weird, really off of what I'm normally, I'm into something and then suddenly that happens. That doesn't usually happen for me. So I just wanted to comment on that. Anybody have any insights? Go ahead.
Just that there's something there. There's a message. There's something you're going to go into deeper, I think.
Well, this is a time of many different kinds of small aggressions. Like all these planets going into Aries and then more going in the next couple of weeks. There's a whole crowd in the sign of Aries, the warrior. Armed with his sword and his archery and all of that. So, and Jupiter, because it's active right now in a very big way, that's the other warrior on the horse, mounted on a horse, carrying archery tools. So there's a lot to do with self-awareness and self-exploration.
Well, I just wanted to go over a couple of the things coming up. Tomorrow, the 15th, and then again on the 29th, we have the Seth Material Book Study Group at 6:30 Eastern Time. And then Sunday, the 12th, at 7 o'clock is Let's Talk About It. So that's Carol's event. Carol, did you pick a topic for next time yet?
No.
Not yet?
Although
Okay.
somebody suggested one at the last session, and I really I need to look at that and see if there's something in that I can, because the topic feels way too broad to me. So I got to go dive into the topic and pick something that I think is a little more pointed, but yeah, so no, not exactly.
Not yet. Okay. Well, whatever she picks, it will be so interesting. I just love the topic from last week. And then Tuesday, April 14th at 7:00, Becky is holding her second healing circle. That was something that was lovely. We worked on healing the earth, everything last time. And I don't know where her focus is going to go this time either. So tune in and check it out. And then our next new moon is April 16th. And we will be back here at 1:30. So that's our upcoming events.
Right.
Yeah.